Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance, and we have an action-packed agenda for you today. So on the docket, we have new again credit cards from Western Union. We've got JetBlue teasing a new premium credit card, of course. We have that Hawaiian-Alaska merger final outcome, and we have Chase and Apple flirting again. Will they, won't they? You know I've got a lot to say, especially coming off of new iPhone day as well. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, we lead off with a quick hit that's technically a week old, but boy, did I hear about it, and that is the Chase Q4 5X categories. Last week we did discover, and because of the timing of the video, Chase just missed the deadline by a little bit. I make these on Saturday morning, or tape these on Saturday morning, and they just missed the deadline. And of course, by the time you're watching it, the categories were out. So let's quickly comment on them so you know we don't ignore our house of diamond, right? So here you have it. Again, we are looking at, for this quarter, we're looking at PayPal, McDonald's, pet shops, and vet services, and select charities. Those are going to be your 5X categories for the Freedom and the Freedom Flex. I think PayPal's a fine category. I mean, many places take PayPal online, and there are even some ways to pay with PayPal in the store I've seen. I believe I've seen some folks talking about that. So I think PayPal overall is a good category. McDonald's is an easy one to make fun of because it screams that Ronald called up Diamond and was like, hey man, how many McNuggets can I give you to get on the category list? Like that has to be, you know, a sponsored deal or something, which is fine. Plus, it still works on the Freedom Flex. You do get 7X back. I think people initially push back on it because it's going to be hard to max out, but you don't have to max them out all the time. And so overall, I think McDonald's is good. I like McDonald's. I don't go to McDonald's much, but that's more of a trying to save money than I don't like McDonald's. McDonald's is good. There's 99 billion people served. I see the sign. We just all act like we don't go. So, I mean, again, if you have a pet or something, you probably love these. I have no pets. I'm going to be the laziest thing around my house. And then charities, not donate money. I'm sorry, just not. So anyways, those are your categories. I think they're fine. I think PayPal's the star. PayPal also sells gift cards. Last I looked, if you really need them and just want to max them out, you should be fine. But there's enough stuff with PayPal that I think we should be good. So if we all feel better now that we covered it and we didn't miss it, because I wouldn't want to slight the House of Diamond, there you go. Now, moving on, as far as next stories, we have a set of new credit cards. Well, not necessarily new. Well, I guess they're kind of new. Best Western. They were originally with FNBO, who does issue a lot of co-branded cards, weirdly enough. They just kind of like secretly does it. And then they've now moved, and which means we have some new cards. So if we take a look at this, you're going to have two options to get into here. And we'll take a look. We'll start with the Best Western Visa Signature. So not exactly fancy on the names. Of course, these will be issued by First Bank and Trust and Mercury Financial. No annual fee on the first one. Multipliers 4 back on Best Western purchases. And then 2 back on everything else. Your benefits, gold status, no foreign transaction fees. The intro offers are a little bit weird. You could get up to 40,000 points based on the level of spend. They tell this to you at application but before applying. Don't know how I feel about that. The Big Brother card, not $89 annual fee. Multipliers, you step up to 10x back. At Best Western, 4 back on gas and groceries and 2 back on everything else. Benefits, Platinum Elite status, 2 free night and reward certs each year. And then no foreign transaction fees, and then again the same dealer's choice, or house's choice, I should say, intro offer of up to like 80,000 points. Again, revealed at application. I'll leave those up for a second. Those are your cards. Quick thoughts. I mean, candidly, I don't really know a ton about Best Western. I don't know what gold or platinum status is going to get you. The Big Brother card, I mean, if you know what you're doing with reward nights, I think they could be worth keeping, the same as like those lower level hotel cards that give you, those $95 annual fee cards that give you a reward tonight, and it kind of works out as an arbitrage. I think it could be worth it to some. It's probably a very niche select use case out there. So if you have a Best Western strategy, definitely let us know down below what it is. Overall, I don't think they're terrible. I just don't think they're going to be for many people here. Most people here prefer the major chains. But again, there should be something for everyone, and more options is good. I really don't care for those intro offers. I hope we don't see that becoming a trend. I don't think it will be. It's just a very weird way to do it. Like, we'll let you know what you're going to get. Of course, you see it before you accept, but I just don't really see the point in that, honestly. They're not nearly popular enough to try to do that. So Anyhow, let's hope they don't stick to that. But if you don't like those cards, well, you might like this next mystery card that JetBlue has told us about. And they want to make a premium card to go hand in hand with their lounges that they're also opening. So they put out a kind of sort of press release. Not a lot of details, but what the heck, let's talk about it anyways. And here you have it. So again, they put these through Business Wire. So you're getting 2 lounges, right? We're getting JFK coming in late 2025 in Boston Logan International Airport coming soon after. I don't really say exactly when, but sometime next year, probably late end of next year, I would guess. So anyhow, that's what you're getting. Those will be their first foray into airport lounges. Now, in addition to that, they're looking to make a premium credit card. They don't really give many details about it, but if you want to know how to get into the lounges, well, wouldn't you guessed it, the credit card is going to be a way in, so we'll at least know it has lounge status. You're looking at True Blue Mosaic for members to also get in, and transatlantic Mint customers could also get into these lounges as well. So there you go, the credit card, probably the easiest way for most people to get in. That probably puts it somewhere in the $450 to $550 range. $550 seems like a lot, but if you're getting I think it had to be comparably priced to the Venture X. I find it really hard they would go up into Sapphire Reserve territory. So $350 feels about right. We're not knowing what it does, what else it does, right? But just if you're going to make lounge access a thing, it looks like they're going to be trying to restrict it early on just to certain statuses. Again, the benefit of coming in so late to the lounge game is you've at least seen all the issues that the other lounge operators have run into. So there's that. I think you're probably looking at $400 to $450 feels about right on the card. We just don't know a lot of details, but it's coming, so keep your eye out for that. So it could be good. People do like JetBlue, so I'm not really knocking it. I'm just, some point, like how many lounges we're gonna have a building of lounges attached to the airport at some point. I think it's gonna have to be the next thing that we get to. But anyhow, if you're not flying JetBlue, you might have liked to fly Alaska, or you might have liked to fly Hawaiian. Well, now they're going to be one and the same, more or less, because that merger has finally been approved. The will they, won't they, did they approve it? No, they didn't approve it, whole thing. Well, it's now finally approved. So there you go. Now the brands, I believe, are going to stay somewhat, separate on paper. They're not just going to all merge under one banner. But overall, what the interesting part is how I don't know if it's which branch of the government, it could be Department of Transportation, put out a press release and said, hey, we're going to protect your points base. They didn't say it like that, but this is what they're going to do. So the things you're going to care about. So protecting the value of rewards. Alaska and Hawaiian agreed to the first ever rewards protections against devaluation that ensure that consumers will receive the rewards, benefits, and statuses they have earned. Specific rewards protections include, we've got this whole thing at profitablecontent.com for you. I'm not going to go through all the details, but no expiration for miles earned under current programs. Transfer miles at 1-to-1 ratio between the two. Maintain the value of miles. Match, maintain, or increase statuses. Probably not going to get an increase, but match and maintain is good. No new junk fees is like such a dig, right? Because they didn't need to word it like that, right? Because of I don't know how contentious this was, right? But at least they said they agreed, and then you said no new junk fees, which implies we know you have junk fees. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I've never flown either of the airlines, I can't say. But no new ones. That's such a jab for no reason. They also have some other things in here. Maintaining critical inter-island and continental routes, preserving support for essential air service in Alaska and Hawaii, ensuring competitive access to Honolulu Hub Airport, guaranteeing fee-free family seating. So there you go. I mean, they did agree to a lot, which is good to see, and it comes at an interesting time because we had a story a while. What was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, where governments were also getting ready to look into loyalty reward programs from the major airlines as well. So I can see why they would have a focus on this. If you can get someone to agree to it, 2 large airlines to agree to it, well, then at least proves, hey, all these things are actually doable because they just agreed to it. Why aren't you doing them? So it's actually, I think, a really smart play on the Department of Transportation. This benefits customers, obviously, in the loyalty program. Now, again, who's not to say they don't just make up for it, which is increased fees or something like that, as long as they're not junk fees, remember? So overall, it is approved. There you go. I know there's been a renewed interest in getting the Hawaiian cards. I believe they're with Barclays. They have a personal and business one. Because again, I think the play is to get Hawaiian miles and ship them over to Alaska. People tend to prefer Alaska, and their partners little bit better. So that is definitely a strategy. So if you got one of those planned, let us know down below what you're working on. Of course, safe travels. Again, we've got that full blog post or a full post over at profitablecontent.com if you want to read it in depth. So, story of the week. We were just speed running all the other stories because this is like the one that says so little, but is the most interesting to me. Of course, all this travel stuff. You guys can have it. Apple and Chase, the great move of the Apple Card. Last week we talked about Goldman Sachs, who of course issues the Apple Card, dumping General Motors portfolio. Now they are still trying to get rid of the Apple Card portfolio. Apple, I think, just has a much stronger hand in where they go than the folks at General Motors. So they've been talking to Synchrony Bank. I think they talked to Capital One, but now it looks like we've got reports from Mac Rumors, 9 to 5, all those guys that J.P. Morgan, the House of Diamond, is talking to. Probably not Tim. I don't imagine those two guys are actually sitting down, but they have deputies that are going to talk about this who head the divisions, right? So we don't know a ton of stuff, which is perfect for overreacting to, right? So reports are out stating Apple's in talks with Chase to acquire the Apple Card portfolio. Chase is looking for a discounted sales price. The current portfolio sits around $17 billion face value and outstanding balances. Additionally, Chase would want other changes like the billing would be a key part of it, right? So what we know from what Apple's imposed on Goldman is that so what, it's almost the end of September, so like October 1st everyone's statement would start over and it would end on October 31st. Cool. But things like that, no bank does that because one, it creates this massive influx of people calling about questions on their bill, this, that, and the other, all at the same time. Number two, you don't really want, you always want money coming and going. You don't want all my money goes out, then I'm waiting for all of it to come back in. All is a bit much, but you get my point, right? So they want concessions like that in the deal. Now, I think this is actually perfect. If you ask, we talked about this at length a while back because I love Apple stuff, as you can't tell. But before I still said Chase is the best suitor, but I didn't think Apple would do it. I've since changed my mind on that, and a large part is because of this. In my sheeples, the 16 Pro Max just came in on Friday, right? It's the exact same thing as the 15. You don't need it, but this is proving my point. Apple has changed a lot from a consumer as a consumer, right? I think this product shows it because this is largely, it's a nice phone. The phone works fine, but it's like an unfinished phone because the whole thing they've been selling is AI, which is artificial intelligence, but how they call it Apple intelligence, which is a whole nother dumb thing, right? So anyhow, it's in the past, I'm gonna make my point quickly. The point is there's in past times Apple would have never come on stage and sold us an unfinished product, right? If you think about Apple Pay, like Apple Pay works rudimentarily off of NFC, near field communication, but Apple doesn't sell NFC. They sell Apple Pay. They sell features that have impact in your lives. This is like they're just selling hardware. Like, oh yeah, we'll get you the software later. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. It's also rolling out over the course of a year. That speaks more to let me make investors happy, who investors are like, hey, I see Google crushing it with AI and doing all these things. I can't do any of this. Your phone's what gives. We've seen them go up on stage and talk about iPhone pricing with mentioning carrier trade, as they call them partners, but the carriers are, because most people buy their phones through their carrier. I would never, it's a horrible process, but most people do, right? And so my overall point is that I think old Apple was like, I will give up this much money to be that less annoying or appear more customer focused. I'm not saying they're going to be anti-customer now, but those things that they clung on to years ago to make Goldman do, I think they can be like, yeah, but Chase has way more money and can get us into way more pockets, so we will make concessions on those. Concessions like, well, the billing thing absolutely positively has to go. Fees, I don't think I'm not talking about annual fees, but I'm talking about collecting money. Like Chase is probably much better at collecting funds than Goldman was, having never done it before for this type of customer, especially since the late fees, I think, have been capped at $8 anyways. I think you're also probably looking at something like going through, I still think that'll approve a lot of people. Like maybe Chase is like, fine, you can keep it out of 524, but I might want to go through and reallocate or slash some credit limits of folks. That could be interesting. Now, what is Chase going to want? I think Chase is going to want, we can see the model. I don't think they're going to want anything ridiculous. I think, all the co-branded cards non-travel have Chase 5X Chase Travel on them, right? They want a way for you to still interact with Chase. They're going to want that credit card in the Chase portfolio, portal so you can have the Chase app so they can cross-sell you things. Like, I don't think it's that hard to see what they want. Would they take the high yield savings account? That part I don't know. For whatever reason, high yield savings accounts makes big banks sick to their stomach, so I don't think they would take it. They might have to. I don't know. But I think Chase like, hey, we'll put up Apple Card banners in all the branches. The branches are technically branded with Chase normal products. I believe Chase has a ton to offer Apple, to sum this up so we don't end up talking 20 minutes about this. I believe that Chase has a ton to offer Apple that old Apple, 2018, 2017 Apple, would turn their nose at, like, whatever. No. New Apple, who sells phones without software. I mean, the only discernible software in this is you can change the color of the icons. Fantastic. Everyone on Android could do that for I don't know how long. I still bought one, so this is half making fun of me, I guess. But you get my point, right? Old Apple would have never done that. New Apple's like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to get the service revenue up. Could you just pay me? And that's why I think this will actually has potential. A lot still has to happen, but I do think that last part, what would they change the Apple Card? I don't think so. I don't really think you see many changes to the card itself. You know, maybe you could get a 5X, a 4X back on Apple. All the co-brand is the Amazon, the DoorDash, Instacart, you know, they're at least 4X. So you could see that. Wins for us. Maybe you get a tie into the Chase portal where you can go in and you can buy Apple products already. Maybe you get a slight boost there with your points, kind of like Ultimate Rewards and Travel does. That could be a pay yourself back type thing through Apple. I could see them adding something like that. The daily cash also might have to go. There's a lot of legwork to pay out minuscule amounts of points. I think that's probably a headache as well. But overall, I think these two banks are now ready. These two major players are now ready to sit down and get along. So you can't tell. I could have made the whole show about this. We could have gone longer. I should stop now. I'll turn over the conversation to you guys. Let me know what you think about Chase potentially taking over the Apple Card and all the rest of it as well. Of course, let me know if you got the new phone as well, how you're liking it. Those new watches in black look pretty sick as well. But anyways, guys, that's going to do for this one. So, of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. Of course, we're right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on ProfitableContent.com, the channel's blog, which is always linked down below for you and on the channel homepage. We have news stories just like this exactly when they come out, and it's really helpful in an action-packed week. Of course, we have credit card offers. Nothing for the Apple Card yet, but we do have Chase and Amex cards, and, of course, we have bank promotions as well. But anyways, guys, that'll do for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.